But when nobody is talking, when we have more questions than we have answers, then we know that's the answer. Something is happening. Your antennas ain't going up. This is why I tell people, hey, question everything, because people who question things cannot be finessed. You cannot be deceived easily if you question everything. I don't care how many times people tell you, oh, you are problematic. Oh, you don't need to question things. Just let things be. Fuck that. You got a mind that God gave you for a reason, and it is to exercise discernment. Discernment comes from questions being answered and your eyes being aware of the patterns of behavior that you see, whether it's your own or others. It's not funny, but it's funny because black people make oppression look so good, other people want to be oppressed. Imagine just being a young person, having fun, hanging out with your friends on a weekend that is supposed to be celebratory for everybody in this country, thinking that you're safe. And over that weekend, you lose your life. Disclaimers. All views discussed on this channel is a matter of opinion. I do not claim to be a licensed therapist or psychologist, though I am in my internship for my specialist degree in school psychology. I will continue my studies in sociology, and because of my passion for the field, over the years I have read on books, scholarly journals, and other publications on social issues and the like. Therefore, many of my opinions can be backed with reputable sources that led to my conclusions in the matter. That being said, I understand that social issues are touchy and polarizing. I understand that criticism of a group you belong to socially or your favorite social figures can make you uncomfortable or feel like an attack. It is my intention to inform, not offend, but the truth can be offensive. If you happen to belong to a certain group I am analyzing, but you do not exhibit the behaviors I mentioned, then the assessment does not include you. Therefore, there is no need to insert yourself. If you are to include yourself, please be kind. Refrain from using ad hominem, look it up, stating obvious and redundant, not all of us statement, or disagreeing without data that can disprove my opinion. Remember, less feelings, more facts. Not only do you lose your life, these so called friends keep your belongings, your phone, your keys. They erase messages, social media posts that seem to likely should have been there are no longer there. Pictures floating of you with this friend. And everybody is confused. We're confused. It's a very curious case. And people are arguing. People are trying to figure out, is this a system issue? Was it accidental? But all we know when it comes to Nolan Wells is it's a pattern. So quick to answer the question, yes, it is a systems issue. Because if it's not a systems issue, then why is it that this same state that has had the most LY inchings of black bodies who have had some of the most heinous racial divisive crimes come out when this young black man has perished to say, oh, just rule it accidental. Immediately after you find the body, it's accidental. No investigation, no examination. We have seen this time and time again. As a black person, as a black woman who loves black men and black little boys, who loves black girls, I've covered a lot of these cases. I mean, I'm not a news person whatsoever. And so I've talked about a lot of these young girls and these young boys when these incidents happen because it's not an isolated thing. Black bodies, male, female, in between, are under attack. Have been for thousands and thousands of years. It's something that you come to accept, but it's not acceptable. It's unacceptable. What makes this so scary more than anything is how, like I said, quickly they decided that this was accidental. How quickly it seemed as though there was a shutdown and a lack of transparency because you have the boys that were with him and we have not heard anything. We've had all of these accounts of the coaches and the people that were there but weren't with Nolan. What about the people that were with him? Since filming this, it is become apparent that his so-called best friend Warren Hudson came on the Officer Tatum show and claimed that Nolan went off without them. They wanted him back on the boat, but he would not get back on. It also says that he was completely fine. You can go see the video for yourself. Again, it is on Officer Tatum's channel. We don't support that channel over here, but you are more than welcome to. Yeah. Why do we not hear anything from them? Why is it that everything has been hush hush? Y'all lawyered up and there is no answers. There's nothing describing what really happened that day. All we know, all the parents know. I don't care about the general public. I don't need to know anything. The parents need to know. His mother and his father need to know. Christine and Elmore, they need to know what happened to their son. And y'all don't want to offer any answers. You have the Mississippi Police Department. I can't recall the actual city right now, but Mississippi Police Department they're not even talking to the parents. Christine, his mother, said today at the press conference, she said she still has not heard from them since a couple of days after recovering Nolan's body. Unacceptable. Why is it that we're hearing about the second autopsy today? The second one. It means there was one before that. And that one was conducted. Well, I think they said that they retrieved the body on the 19th. It was done on the 19th. The results came out today. It's a few days. You're telling me they've had Nolan's body all this time and we still have not got the first autopsies? The parents still have not gotten the first autopsy results? Talking about y'all waiting on a toxicology? We don't need a toxicology for the autopsy. Those are two separate things. You can give me the autopsy now. Let me see what you found. And then speaking of the autopsy, here we go. It's even more contradicting things coming out. It's even more things that come out that makes us question what's going on. Hold on, before I get into the autopsy, you have the conflicting story of the young girl that Nolan was supposedly allegedly talking to at the Horn Island event that everybody was there to have their 4th of July celebration. He's talking to this girl. The girl says he's going back to the boat. Okay, the boat boys who were with him said that no, he stayed on the island to talk to her. Somebody's lying. You want to know who I think is lying? It's definitely not that girl. She has no stake in it. Those boys are covering something. My thing is, I understand if it was accidental. Okay, let's entertain this was an accident. Why is there so much cover up? And if there is so much cover up for an accident, why is there so much omission? Why is there no admission? Why can't you just admit, hey, I was scared. This is why we did this. It's still sketchy, but still, I would rather you come out and say, hey, this is what happened. Give me the chain of events as you know it. But when nobody is talking, when we have more questions than we have answers, then we know that's the answer. Something is happening. Your antennas ain't going up. This is why I tell people, hey, question everything, because people who question things cannot be finessed. You cannot be deceived easily if you question everything. I don't care how many times people tell you, oh, you are problematic. Oh, you don't need to question things. Just let things be. Fuck that. You got a mind that God gave you for a reason, and it is to exercise discernment. Discernment comes from questions being answered and your eyes being aware of the patterns of behavior that you see, whether it's your own or others. We see the pattern here. Let's get into this autopsy. I got notes, and I am disturbed by the second autopsy results because again, all it did was leave more questions. You have in the second autopsy. Okay, first, let's be clear. The autopsy was done by I think his name was Dr. Roger Mitchell. It's either Roger or Robert. I believe it's Roger though. He's a reputable medical examiner, and a lot of people have sung his praises. So from what I gathered from the press conference, it seems he was very objective, very transparent, and he followed the science. He followed the results. He looked at what the body showed him. So first of all, the throat was missing. All right, don't be alarmed because according to Dr. Mitchell, that's a norm, right? It's a norm for the throat to be missing. And sometimes when the throat is missing, it is because it needs to be further examined. Okay. There could be issues, could be evidence, or it just could be an issue that needs to be looked at more thoroughly. It's still suspicious. Because what that tells me, right, is if the throat is missing that, there could be foul play. Now, granted, it could not be, because it can be either way. But if there was no problem with his throat, it will still be there. That's my conclusion. So there's a problem with the throat. What the problem is, we don't know. My antenna says it's suspicious. Okay? Because Nolan could swim, I did have to kind of correct somebody in the comments because let me tell y'all, just quick side. There was this lady, she made a comment on a baby's post. Yes, the baby was black. And she said the baby was learning how to swim or seems to be in water playing. And she was like, oh, please get him some swimming lessons because after what happened to Nolan Wells, I think that all black people should know how to swim. I'm paraphrasing, but it's kind of what she said. And I get disturbed when y'all become extremists like this. I get so disturbed. This baby, this is a beautiful post, right? Beautiful post about a little black boy having his joy. And you come and you dampen it by mentioning Nolan, who could swim. He could swim. So what is the point in you saying that? So, I don't know. It's just, y'all got to not do this. I need everybody to be calm. I understand it's emotional. Pay attention, but don't become obsessed. All right? There's so many other cases going on just like this that we still need to give attention to, and I'm going to highlight that sometime in this video. Anyway, I'm sorry. I just had to bring that up. So we don't know why, of course, Dr. Roger Mitchell alluded to these questions of, we don't know why or how Nolan got in the water. Being that he is someone that we know that can swim, there is a difficulty in determining the reason he's in the water in the first place and how he got into the water. Did he get into the water to take himself for a swim? Did he fall? Did he slip? Was he intoxicated? All of these questions that still have to be answered because we still don't know the cause of death. We still don't know the manner in which he died because there is other investigation that needs to occur. But what is most important, the most important and pertinent piece of this autopsy that really needs to be answered was 3 parts. One part is when it comes to the neck area, the throat, what's going on with that. Second part is there was discoloration in the back of the head, which is this area right here that I'm pointing to. Hope you can see the occipital bone. So right where your curve, right here where the curve of your skull meets your upper neck area, the occipital bone. There was some soft tissue discoloration. Now, to note, there were no broken bones. The skull was not fractured. There was not like an opening or a laceration. There was no breakage of the skin in that area, but it was a very long strip of discoloration. Said 12 by 8 inches in the back of the head. Now, that's something, again, that is something that could have been post-mortem, which is after he perished, or it could have been something that happened before. We can't tell when we don't have the first autopsy, but it is something that needs to be highlighted because of the amount of decompensation when the body was retrieved for the second autopsy. It is hard to tell if there was any bruising on the body. It's just hard to tell because of the timeline, and it's, again, the second autopsy. And then another thing that's also kind of troubling is we don't understand what's going on with the lungs. What's important about the lungs is if he was alive when he was in the water would be inside the lung. If he was not, it would be difficult for it to be inside the lungs. Now, the throat is different, but the lungs, maybe not. That being said, one of the people who retrieved Nolan's body from the Cajun Navy, in his opinion, said he did not look like someone who would drown. That's what he said. He did not detect or see a lot of bloating or anything.
What can you tell me about the state and position that the body was in that hasn't been reported?
Yeah. So again, just to put it into perspective, it was I'm told it was about 08:45 on 6 July when a park ranger on Horn Island discovered the body, called it in to law enforcement. We had myself and the gentleman who donated his plane that day out of Gulfport. We had been flying for about 2 hours at that point. We were making a track going from Horn Island over to Ship Island down to Chandelier Island, which is south of both of those islands, about another 30 miles. So we were coming back up north towards the northwest tip of Horn Island when we noticed there were boats in the center of the island where there's a lagoon, and then we saw some boats approaching the northwest tip. And then when we got closer, we noticed there were 2 boats already parked in tandem on the beach. And that was strange. It was a Monday morning. It was obvious they weren't fishing. So we descended and to about maybe 450 feet, 500 feet, and we could tell it was law enforcement boats, law enforcement personnel. So we descended maybe another 100 feet or so, circled around, and that's when I saw a law enforcement presence gathering on that northwest point, and then I noticed that there was what appeared to be a body right at the shoreline, laying face down on the sand.
The implication is that this body had washed up, unfortunately, on the shore.
That's what it looked like to me, yeah.
Did you see any visible injuries or anything that you can speak to at that distance?
No, from that height, right? So it's best I can do. The description matched Nolan Wells. It matched the area. It was the area where we were looking. So I had good reason to believe, even before I heard from the sheriff's office, that it was him. The swim trunks appeared to be similar color to what was reported. um, the one thing I'll say about the condition of the body, and again, I want to stress very, as much as I can, that I'm at 400, 450 feet in the air. So I did not have a good ground's eye view look. But normally when a body's been floating, you'll see some bloating and whatnot. He wasn't in the water that long. The water temperature was high. He has a low body mass index, so both of those factors together. Normally, we'll look for a body to pop up on about day 4, but we knew it was possible he could pop up as soon as day 2, and this was day 2. But again, the body, I'm trying to think of the most respectful way to say it. The body did not seem at that height to be disproportionate to the way it should look. Now, I could not get a good look at his face. I could not get a good look of the front side of his body, which was on the beach. I was really looking at his back of his legs, back of his arms, that kind of thing. And so that was my vantage point, and I just want to stress to everybody that that's not an ideal vantage point. It's just what I can see, and plus I'm flying at like 90 knots, so I mean I'm going pretty fast. So I'm really getting when I say a glimpse, it's a glimpse.
It's just so many questions, and this is why I call it the curious case of Nolan Wells, because we have no answers, and this is just ridiculous. It saddens me. Okay, I'm completely disgusted and distraught, and this is not the first time. This is just the most present. It's the most previous, most current. When I think about Kendrick Johnson from, I think that was 2014, and he was here in Georgia, and how his body came up in the school, rolled up in the mat, but yet they ruled it accidental, and nobody, still to this day, has any answers. Can you imagine being a mother of your child, and your child ends up dead, and you have no answers, and you know that somebody knows something? You know somebody knows something. It's impossible not to know anything. Nobody's saying anything. I can only imagine the amount of disrest Christine is experiencing. I can only imagine the amount of pain that family is experiencing. It's one thing to lose a loved one, that's painful in itself. But to lose a loved one in this country, and that loved one be Black, that loved one be amongst people who historically have hated us, disliked us, caused us harm, in a state where it was most prevalent. The police is not doing or saying anything, to your knowledge anyway, because you can't shut you out. And you got to fight for your own justice alongside of grieving. I don't want to imagine that, but when I put myself in that space, I feel sick. And somehow Black people, we make all the fight that we have, we make it look good. I'm not even trying to be facetious. Like, we just do. We make pain look good. We make struggle look good. It's crazy because it's us. It's us. We make it look so good that other people want to be oppressed as us. It's not funny. But it's funny because Black people make oppression look so good, other people want to be oppressed. Because if they don't, then why are white people making this about them as if they are the victim? Why do y'all always assume? No. Why do y'all always do? It's not an assumption when there's a pattern. If I deal with you, let's say we friends, and every time you come around, something end up missing. That's a pattern, right? So when I come to you and I accuse you, hey, every time you come around, something is missing. Oh, why do you always accuse? Nope. Why do you always do? Why is it so hard for white people to understand that you are being accused of something that you always do? This is a pattern of your behavior. This is the pathology that your ancestors have bestowed upon you, whether it be implicitly through behavior and epigenetics, the passing down of trauma, or explicitly where they tell you, hey, they don't like Black people. I don't know what y'all talk about when I'm not around, when we not around, but I know what y'all talk about when we not around. Because sometimes y'all don't even do a good job of concealing it when we are around. You got so many of these cases. And I know we keep talking about Emmett Till, but we knew what happened with Emmett Till. We didn't need a lot of answers. We found out justice was not served, but we knew. This case is different because we have no answers. And I'm hopeful that we will, but God, please let me be wrong. God, please let me be wrong, but something inside me, I don't think we ever gonna get all the answers for this case. I'm trying not to be emotional about it, but I don't think we gonna get the answers. We still didn't get the answers for Ashley Janae, and I'm not going to stop speaking her name every so often because Black women still deserve justice too. I don't think that we fought hard enough for her, but at the same time, it's like it's so hard when it's a whole nother continent and a whole nother country. But I just don't feel like we're going to get the answers for Nolan. And if we do, God, please, I don't know if it's even going to make us rest. Because I feel like even if we find out that it was accidental, because it's been so mishandled, we're going to be paranoid. We're going to think that they're lying. And then if we find out that it was foul play, we are not sure that we're even going to get justice. And because of that, I want to talk about some things that we learned from this press conference about other boys. Let me start calling them boys. They're young men, but 18 is a boy to me. I'm sorry. Auntie 37. But on July 4th, there are two other young men, black men, of course, who perished under the similar circumstances. Okay, you have Daniel Irvins. He was 18. Supposedly he accidentally drowned. Where was he? On a fishing trip. With who? Other white men. So how is it that this boy, he drowned, right? Okay, that's accidental. But yeah, find his phone, social media and texts are deleted, clothes disposed of, but he drowned. Now, the friends did get charged with tampering with evidence, which is what they need to be doing to these other boys in this Nolan case. But okay, I digress. How do we not know that it was in a fight before, scuffle before? Maybe he was thrown out the boat. He was the only black one there, and this is why I've said this. I'm going on record. I can't remember what piece of content I said this in, but I say so much, and I say it again. When it comes to having friendships with white people, you do have to be careful as a black person because sometimes their whiteness will take precedence over their relationship with you. I say this over and over again. I say it just like this. When you have friendships with white people as a black person, you have to be careful. I'm saying it one more time because sometimes their whiteness will take precedence over their relationship with you. You have to handle them. You have to handle them very gingerly. It's sad. I hate that for us. But I know better than to let a white person all the way in with me because I don't know if at one moment you might turn, because the way social conditioning works, sometimes you don't know any better. Sometimes your belief system is so rooted in what humanity has implanted on us that you can't cherish me because I'm black amongst your other white friends. We have another case. His name is Tyler Smith, 18. Pew-pewed in the head. Gun was disposed of. Call it an accident. You want to know what the claim was? They were playing Russian roulette. No investigation done. Oh, the kids say it was an accident. He was the only one out of over 10 people. That one makes my chest hurt because my brain goes into overdrive. I don't know if I be picking up on what really happened because a lot of times my empath abilities kick in and sometimes it's a little psychic and I start seeing visions of what I think happened in front of me. Yeah, I'm a little psychic. Okay. Sorry. But my stomach started hurting because I know what happened in my brain, what popped in my head. Listen, it's okay to be the only black person in the room, only in a professional setting. I'm going to say that again. It's okay to be the only black person in the room, only in a professional setting. You can't change my mind. And some people argue not even then. Nah, because I be the only black person. In my profession, I have been the only black person in the room. Sorry. You ain't going to get me out of there. Because that's how you know we supposed to be in that room. But when it comes to social, no, never make yourself the only black person in the room in a social setting. I will never change my mind. Not in this day and age. Maybe a couple of generations from now, I might be able to see it. I ain't gonna be here, but spiritually, baby, I don't know. I'm not making light, but I'm just saying, like, girl, please, nah, don't do it. Just don't do it. But to my black people watching this, to my white people watching this, I still love y'all, but I just don't trust y'all. And you gotta understand why. You ain't meant to be around me. Take it up with your ancestors. But to my black people, please, y'all, don't be extreme. Like I said earlier, don't be extreme when it comes to this case. Let's be objective as possible. Can you be suspicious? Yes, everything is pointing to being suspicious. Suspicion just means that you have more questions than you have answers. Something is not lining up. There's contradictions everywhere in the story. This piece is missing that are important so that we can formulate a actual real opinion about what happened. But don't jump to thinking and concluding that we know what happened because we don't know. We don't know. We don't know what happened to Nolan. And I pray we find the answers. I pray, Lord, please let me be wrong. But I just feel like, and I'm not trying to be nasty or I just don't think we're going to find it. It's going to be another case, another name to the list of long names where we are trying to figure out what happened to our black people. Don't allow this to get you discouraged because even if we look back at history, we are still making strides, y'all. I know a lot of people just feel like we ain't doing nothing getting better. And I just think that's stupid as fuck when we had ancestors that were literally in chains every day. We had ancestors that literally woke up every day and had to listen to a white person tell them what to do and couldn't quit and couldn't stop without physically getting harmed or some kind of consequence. So, yeah, we've made strides now because I'm pretty sure you don't want to trade places with them. They would trade places with you in a minute and probably wouldn't even complain. Probably would tell you not to complain so much. I don't know about that. That's where I might be like, hold on, ancestor. But same token, that's why we got to have gratitude for them and what they did and where we are. But same token, we have so much work. Still to do. So much work still to do with humanity. And I want y'all to understand that the system is not broken. It is working the way it's supposed to. I find it very odd and concerning that black people, we already know white people gonna be stupid about it. No disrespect, but y'all are stupid about the system. Y'all don't even know how disgusting capitalism is. Y'all want to fight so hard to keep it because, ooh, you work so hard. Yeah, you work so hard and you see you get little to nothing for how hard you work. You're complaining about how capitalism works because you work so hard, but you want to keep it. It's better than socialism because you think that, oh, spreading the wealth means taking away from your own fucking mouth. You're an idiot or whatever. We know that they don't know the system, but as black people, we should know the system. We should know that it's never been for us. We should know that America was created for slavery. Like, basically, the whole purpose of coming over here was, yeah, sure, to expand, but we couldn't do no expansion without somebody doing the labor. We not doing the labor. It ain't enough of us. And even when they was doing the labor, I'm talking about them, they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. So they had to recruit us because black people know how to work land. They had to recruit us because we knew how to raise cattle. They had to recruit us because we knew how to grow rice. They had to recruit us. They didn't recruit us and pay. They snatched us, kidnapped us, and bartered us off because they didn't know what the fuck to do. Imagine if black people didn't exist. Would white people exist? No, we already know that because they came from. But imagine they always talking about go back home, bitch. You brought me over here. You give me the money. I'll tell you I'll go back. If a white person want me to go home so bad, please fund my trip to Africa. Fund it. Give me $50,000. I'll leave right now. I'll leave right now. Actually, hold on. I'll leave next year. Let me get my degree. Let me finish my degree first. I got about 6-7 months for that. And then I'll leave. I promise. Give me 50,000. Wow. That's all I need. I'll make it work. Because I'm educated. I go over there and have my way. I'll be rich in 2 days, probably. I don't know. But I just want to, let it end a little bit on a light note. Love each other. Don't allow this to make you hate. I know how upsetting it is when you hear stories like this and the repetitive history of how white people have treated us, and don't allow it to create more divisiveness inside your heart. You can have pain and you can have understanding and you can want better for the future and for all of us. And you can also be angry. I can't hate white people, man. I can't. I used to think that I could, and I kind of thought that I did, but every time I'm around just a good person, no matter what color they are, I don't care. I just don't care. Like, I think one of the main things that healed me and my complete distrust, I still don't trust white people, but I had a complete distrust. I didn't even want you to talk to me, really, if you was white. Don't touch me. But I've been through things over the last 10 years, especially where I'm like, I see color because I have to, but I don't see color. I see your spirit. I see your soul. I see your personality. I think I've told this story, but it was a white lady I met almost 10 years ago. It might be over 10 years ago now. A complete stranger. But when I locked eyes with that white lady, she looked like an angel to me. Like, she was ethereal. It was something so beautiful about that lady. I saw her and she looked at me and she saw me. It's something spiritual about it. You got to be a spiritually inclined person to understand what I'm saying. We locked eyes and we didn't break contact. That lady walked over to me and asked me if she could hug me. And I said, of course. Gave me a hug, maybe 2 seconds, walked away, didn't say anything. Oh, I can't forget this lady. She might not even be here in the flesh anymore because she was an older lady. I don't remember exactly what she looked like. I just remember her aura, her spirit. That shit screamed at me that this is an angel. This is a beautiful person. I didn't know her name. I didn't have to know nothing about that lady. And I think that she knew. And she might have felt the same way about me. That's all I could see is what I saw in my eyes reflected back from her. It's one of the things you got to just go through it to understand. Old lily white lady. And she was yay high. I was about a foot taller than her. And then after that, I had a good conversation with another white lady just talking about God. Like, I'm a human being first. Not only am I a human being first, I'm empathic. I know everybody says that, but no, I've been this way my entire life since I was 4. I feel deeply. I see things. God has granted me so many gifts. I am God's child, literally, because I literally lead in love, and all the things that I do when I talk shit is still in love. And I'm ranting right now, and I get it. And I'm going to keep this in here. Only because I just feel like it's important for us to still love each other, bro. I get upset because it's like, oh, why? I'm always asking why. How can you claim you love God and you hate me because I'm black? Like, how can you hate me but still claim that you love God? Like, that shit, it burns me up because it's so illogical, number one. But it's an illness, it's a sickness. But it's so psychologically embedded. The pathology is just intertwined into all social aspects. Anti-blackness is the sickness of this world. Sure, we can say no, it's sexism, it's xenophobia, it's religious discrimination. We can say it's all of these things, but at the very top, anti-blackness kind of lends itself to all of these different things coming together. You would not have religious discrimination if anti-blackness did not exist, because guess what? Religious wars only began because the white man decided that Christianity would be his bag. After Jesus died, the white man said, hey, let's use Jesus' death, create a whole new religion for us. Because the black people, they got Islam. The black people, they have their own spiritual, holistic practices. Let's go and project this religion onto them so that we can enslave them. Now, again, I know sexism really is the biggest issue, but gotta start with racism first, I think. This is heavy. It's heavy. But again, I love y'all. And if you got this far, especially since I've been ranting for the last 10 minutes or so, I appreciate it. Make sure you leave a like, leave a comment. Justice for Nolan Wells. Justice for all the young, old, black bodies who have perished under just weird circumstances that are questionable. You know, justice to Daniel Irvins, justice to Tyler Smith. So much. Just so much. I'll see y'all on the next one.